you ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you. Oh!
Shiver me timbers.
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your captain, Jim Bob Ovalshorts, and tonight we have a return guest coming to join us, the founder and head over there of Forbidden Knowledge News, Chris Matthew, man. This guy is super awesome. We've had the opportunity of being on his show before, and he's been here in the past and had a great time with us, man. And we're ready to do it again, man. Like I have been looking forward to tonight. Asked him if he was busy a little while back, and he shot on over some dates and stuff, and we set it back up because he is such a really cool guy, man. Like he's always got some good stuff to talk about, and I have, just all kinds of excitement for this evening. If you remember the last time he was here, I believe it was Kel and Tristan at the helm with me, and we just chatted it up and talked about some really cool things. But tonight I have got Neptune back with us, as well as Bandit and Luis. So I'm actually really looking forward to tonight's conversation. It's probably going to get pretty fun. So Chris, if you don't know Chris, man, you guys make sure you get over there and check out Forbidden Knowledge News, man. He's been doing it longer than a lot of us in the parapolitics realm. Oh man, he has done some good stuff. And in fact, he's working on some like documentary stuff that I'm sure he's going to tell us about later this evening. So y'all be looking forward to that. Of course, you can find anything we do talk about with him and links to get back to Chris over there at everyone's favorite website online, unconstitutionalawakening.com. Woo, your home for everything Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates and all the nonsense we've got going on all the time, you guys. Man, you never know what's going to come next with this place, dude. We're always doing wild stuff. I don't know if you guys keep up with my artwork or whatever, but as you can see, we're totally space pirates now. Like, it's something fun to do, man. Like, I got to keep it fresh, keep it fun. Like, that gotta be ahead of the curve. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. But you guys, I know you guys are always checking in here because I totally see you guys checking in on the website. Totally see you guys in the comment section over there on Podbean and Google Podcasts and stuff like that, as well as Rumble and BitChute, man. And I appreciate you guys talking to us and keeping us up to date with the things that matter to you and stuff. Like, that's why we're here doing this, man. So y'all keep it up, and we're gonna keep it up because that's just kind of how it works around here. While you're hanging out over there, you can also do a bunch of cool things, from answering your pirate questions to getting your free pirate stickers, because I'm never going to stop giving them away as long as I got them sitting here. So, man, answer those questions and get you some pirate stickers. While you're hanging out over there, though, you can find you places to watch if all you do is listen if all you do is watch, and even listen while you're hanging out on the website, man. You just reach right there, hit play, boom, catch the latest episode, man. So y'all make sure y'all are checking that out, as well as the merch store where you can get you some more of those stickers if you like them, on top of shirts, hats, all kinds of cool things, man. I think there's a towel floating around on there too, I've seen. So, like, get you something cool, man. As well as checking out our friends in Liberty, Kirk Elliott, Peachy Key Creation, Ammo Can Survival, Brett Pike with Classical Learner and Homeschools Connected, and Pure Pet Wellness. All these folks are offering you great alternatives to the status quo, on top of giving you a discount if you use any of my codes that are in the links, man. So y'all make sure y'all are checking that stuff out, man. Treat yourself to something nice, and tell them Jim Bob sent you, and you're gonna get something super cool about it. So seems like a win-win to me, man. But I'm gonna quit running this flip-flapping mouth, man. Let's hop on in here and see how Chris has been and see what's going on. And okay, Bandit. So you're telling me that they've been doing deep fakes since The Crow?
Not what everybody considers like deep fakes now. And they've been using the faces, like what they did with Brandon Lee, because Brandon Lee was killed, halfway? Not halfway, like 70% of The Crow was
Well, you
finished
think about it, that was just the first time they showed it to us. They might have had that technology for up to, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years before that. And been using it for different things.
Of it, yeah. But to make it believable to a crowd.
2004, I think it was. Okay, actually, it was probably a little later. So
I have a good example of that.
NASA made one. NASA made a deep fake.
The moon landing.
Well,
I mean, yeah,
that's an elaborate show.
The original
deep fakes are deep fakes
because
but
they did.
Yeah, go.
Oh, I got just one more example along with like The Crow. Chris Farley died during the making of Almost Heroes.
Yeah,
I've got another one. I have another one, Bandit. Oliver Reed in Gladiator. He died during production. The last 20 minutes or so of the movie that included his character. What was his name in the film? Was it Proximo or whatever it was? All of that was this CGI generated imagery.
Okay. I didn't know it was that. I heard he died at some point during production. I thought it was after, but yeah,
he died during production. They had to CGI his face to make that work.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure DARPA and our military industrial complex has had this type of technology for a long time. If you think of all the technology that they've rolled out in the past 10 to 20 years, they've already been working on that 50, maybe even more, maybe up to 100 years ahead of what they ever let the public know. They have this technology on hand already. And imagine what they're working on right now if it's 50 to 100 years beyond, and they're just rolling out deep fakes. It's pretty insane.
I'm a firm believer.
I got a shitty example to use that is like a comparison of like that you can basically judge technology, how it's being released is look at the progression of stealth aircraft over the years. And what they had with the SR-71 Blackbird and then the F-117 Stealth Fighter and Desert Storm. Look at that technology they had in the late 80s, early 90s compared to what they're releasing now and what they could possibly release in the future. That is a very good judge of technology is if you look at the release of different types of stealth aircraft throughout the years that shows what they have.
We don't know what they have now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they had the technology for the SR-71 Blackbird in the 50s and 60s,
imagine what they have now.
Think about what they've got now.
All right.
Okay.
So we're on the subject of AI already, and we're talking about aircraft technology. So let's just go ahead and talk about for a moment. Jimmy, get ready to pull this up.
Gotcha.
I forget the name of it right off the top of my head. It was the autonomous drone program that preceded the Predator, the Dark Star program, I believe it was called.
Yes.
That used,
are you talking about the nuclear powered one?
I don't know if it was nuclear powered or not. I think it just used regular 114 AGMs.
Project Dark Star.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, right? So, AI technology, the basis for it has been around for at least 30 years, because that was an early 90s inception of that type of technology, and the ability to make reasonable decisions based on AI. I guess is we could probably wax poetic for days about whether or not it was actually going to even be meaningful, but the foundation was there to Chris's point, and that is terrifying. That is fucking terrifying. They had the means of deploying a drone that could decide for itself if a target was hostile or had hostile intent.
And that's I guess that's kind of back to what I was trying to get out there, was that I'm a firm believer that things that you do see today and that even have become like a regular part of life today, technology wise, like these guys were working on this and or using it themselves when our parents were kids in a lot of aspects, I believe, or at least working their way to it as best as they could, because you can go back to into like World War II and stuff and see. I love the videos of the first time Americans seen a German jet. They were like,
oh yeah,
what? They were like, what the fuck was this? And so imagine like that kind of technology jump just in visual, but you've got people that their job is literally like every day to work on advancing stuff like this. They sure, like now, like the Chat GPT and like a lot of the picture maker stuff, they've in a sense kind of outsourced all of their feeding to it by making it open for all of us to use and stuff like that. And I think that's making it smarter, because if you look at like Chat GPT 3 in the move to Chat GPT 4 or whatever it is now, and how you can go from it was text to text, audio, video, and all kinds of things, like that's a gigantic step in this thing alone. And the thing that Luis has always used with us here on the show, doing the images and stuff like that speaks a lot to me, because when we first picked Luis up and he was sharing a lot of that stuff with us, it was cool, but it definitely was having a lot of trouble creating exactly what we were looking for. It was creating some awesome stuff.
And now in a few months later, it's not even been a full year.
Yeah,
and we're here almost a year.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy at the pictures that I've seen from like Paranoid American and the stuff you were showing us that we can't really share here, but I'm sure you guys can find out there. Like it's just. Whoa,
I sent you one that's PG. Look at that one. Try to see it. You can share. Open it, and it takes a bit to load. So that image I sent you is made from a model that is based off a lot of humans, and it's able to recreate another human. That person does not exist. But you can catfish somebody with this, and then you can keep that model of that person and keep generating content around that person's likeness. So you just generated a person that you can generate into looking and doing anything you want.
That's
so
terrifying.
You can generate
the
scam levels are atrocious.
Yeah, you look at right now, data is quickly becoming the new largest currency that we have. We feed tons of information into the algorithms that we interact with on a daily basis, like Facebook and YouTube. And you mentioned Chat GPT,
TikTok.
Imagine how much of this algorithm-based technology that we're interacting with, say in chat sessions, or someone leaves a dirty comment on your video and it's just a bot or something like that. The scale that this has become rolled out, that we are no longer interacting with humans on such a large scale, and that things like censorship and a lot of the cancel culture that we've seen in the past couple of years has been dictated by algorithms. And that is another thing that makes me wonder, how far has our technology already gone when it comes to algorithm-based AI and its control over everything that we're interacting with on a daily basis, from our entertainment to possible people that we think are real that aren't real, to some of the agendas that are being rolled out and perpetuated by AI algorithms. So that's some crazy shit too.
Well, this think about all the bots that were outed on Twitter when, Elon Musk was doing all that takeover kind of stuff. And then I've said for years that a giant portion of the interactions on Facebook are 100% bots. Like they're just like you can take videos from the news where everybody says the same thing. You can take comments from
Have you
Facebook
seen the new option on Facebook
where people say the exact same response, across a bazillion different just comment sections and stuff, but it's like word for word the exact same comment. I'm like, dude, that's got to be bots. Like you're interacting and trying to fight and make a point with a bot. Like,
I got to jump in on this one.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new option on Facebook
No.
where you can give Facebook's AI permission to continue your profile after you die and continue to make comments?
That's how new is that? I've not heard a word about that.
Go check it out. I just had that option pop up on Facebook.
Dude, then you might be the first people getting it because you're older. They're like, well, you're older. Do you want to talk about your death? And oh my God, could you send
From what I understand, we already have these online avatars that's collected that the algorithms are collecting all our data based on everything we're interacting with. And we have this advertising. Well, they like to say it's just for advertising purposes, but we have this online avatar that we agree to mine our data with every app that we use, that we don't read the terms and conditions. And there's tons of shit that we skip over and just say, okay, we're agreeing to this. And that basically just agrees to mine all of our data, even listen to our conversations, turn on our microphones, turn on the video cameras at times. So imagine all that compiled into this database. It makes me think that each and every person on the planet that interacts with technology probably has an online avatar already that can be accessed, and any type of agency can know anything and everything about us based on that.
Well, yes and no. So I'll use the example of a movie called The Social Dilemma. So they mentioned The Social Dilemma, the idea that Facebook has a copy of you. None of that's true. They are not that advanced. I know people that work with Facebook and work in advertising. They do listen to you. That is true. They listen to you to a series of different mechanisms. They also know your interactions with the people because of your browsing history and because of your proximity to each other. It creates other correlationships, but they also do listen to you. That is a fact that they all deny, but it is true. Advertisers know it. They all just hush the fuck up about it, but it is true. But they're not that sophisticated.
I don't think it's Facebook. I think it's funneling to deeper and darker, the three-letter agencies and military industrial complex.
Potentially, intelligence agencies have that level of technology. There could be. I mean, we don't know to what extent.
Now, I'm a firm believer that there is multiple, computer generated simulations of us, that are out there and existing. I think it's more along the lines of in the three-letter agency, maybe even the World Economic Forum type level stuff. But it's not they use it to outplay, different simulations like Winnie the Pooh simulation or cyber attack simulations and stuff like that. And they do have so much of our data and know so much about us due to the Facebooks and stuff like that. But there's I think it's more or less run for simulations. One thing about these simulations that I know is that it tends to end in their utter failure, because at some point their plan just goes awry. They can't ever successfully do one of these things without it backfiring on him and people, feeding him to a wood chipper or something.
Mm.
So I mean, that's
I think, at its core, Facebook is probably a DARPA creation. I
100%.
don't believe that Zuckerberg had zero to do with the real creation of this thing. He was just someone that used as a puppet for it. So,
do you want to play that video that showcases the whole history of Facebook? The start,
the coincidence of what was it? The FBI or CIA stopping their logbook, the digital logbook, on February 4th of 2004, and then at the very same day, Facebook announced its creation, February 4th, 2004. It is 100%, 100% gathering intel on.
It's called Keyhole. Yeah. It was called Keyhole. I'm finding there's a really great video that was done several years ago that literally breaks down everything perfectly. I'm gonna find it in a moment.
Okay, yeah, and we'll.
It's probably taken offline, but
now there's speculation that what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter is just going to be a more advanced version of this data collection. Yeah. So, he wants Neuralink. He wants us to upload our consciousness into a computer eventually and go to Mars and all this stuff. But that's all the surface stuff. And I know that there's probably more nefarious agendas behind his whole Twitter, the purchase of Twitter and everything he's got going on there. Right. I do not think he's a savior of any sort.
Oh, me either. I don't think Elon's a good guy at all. Like he's totally into, like I've seen comparisons to where he says basically all the same things like that nut job Klaus Schwab says, just in a different form because it sounds nicer and it's him pandering to the masses. Like if all the accusations people throw at different, I guess, savior models and stuff in the past. Not only like 3 years, but in probably the past 10, 20 years in general, like he fits all of those aspects. Like he's just playing good guy. Like what I'm saying? Like he's not even he's definitely up to some nefarious things. It's not.
Yes. Elon Musk is not perfect by any means, but at least he's doing something for the greater good. It's like a mix of evil and good at the same time, while other people are just playing evil.
All right, so this is only a 4-minute video, so I actually kind of want to play it. I think it'll be good.
It's really worth playing. It's exactly about everything we just said.
Yeah, we'll hook in on here. Let me make sure I can share screen with everything. Sound and
once we're done with this, I have a very long take, and I would like to hear you guys' thoughts.
Yes, sir. And here we go.
Do you have a Facebook? Have you thought about the privacy you put at risk? Facebook allows users to post their favorite music, books, movies, their address, hometown, phone number, email, clubs, jobs, educational history, birth dates, sexual orientation, interests, daily schedules, exactly how they are related to friends, upload pictures of themselves, and even political affiliations. Its privacy policy even goes so far as to state it also collects information about you from other sources, such as newspapers and instant messaging services. This information is gathered regardless of your use of the website. Think that's scary? The Facebook's term of service state, by posting member content to any part of the website, you automatically grant, and you represent and warrant that you have the right to grant, to Facebook an irrevocable, perpetual, non-exclusive, transferable, fully paid, worldwide license with the right to sub-license to use, copy, perform, display, reformat, translate, excerpt, in whole or in part, and distribute such information and content, and to prepare derivative works of, or incorporate into other works, such information and content, and to grant and authorize sublicenses of the foregoing. Have you seen the Facebook's Pulse feature? Pulse provides statistical trends among universities down to minute details such as percentages of females with conservative views, the student body's top 10 movies, and percentage of students who have read Catcher in the Rye. The so-called privacy policy goes on to say that they may share your information with third parties, including responsible companies with which they have a relationship. Can you think of any marketing group who would pass up buying such valid yet easily collected statistics such as these and others? So maybe they're using us. But is there more? The first venture capital money totaled at $500,000 came to the Facebook from venture capitalist Peter Thiel, founder and former CEO of PayPal. He also serves on the board of radical conservative group Vanguard PAC. Further funding came in the form of $12.7 million from venture capital firm Excel Partners. Excel's manager, James Breyer, was former chair of the National Venture Capital Association. Breyer served on National Venture Capital Association's board with Gilman Louie, CEO of InQtel, a venture capital firm established by the Central Intelligence Agency in 1999. This firm works in various aspects of information technology and intelligence, including most notably, nurturing data mining technologies. Breyer has also served on the board of BBN Technologies, a research and development firm known for spearheading the ARPANET, or what we know today as the Internet. In October of 2004, Dr. Anita Jones climbed on board BBN along with Gilman Louie. But what is most interesting is Dr. Jones' experience prior to joining BBN. Jones herself served on the board of directors for InQtel and was previously the Director of Defense Research and Engineering for the U.S. Department of Defense. Her responsibilities included serving as an advisor to the Secretary of Defense and overseeing the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. This goes farther than just the initial appearances. DARPA shot to national fame in 2002 when knowledge of the existence of the Information Awareness Office came to light. The IAO stated its mission was to gather as much information as possible about everyone in a centralized location for easy perusal by the United States government, including though not limited to Internet activity, credit card purchase history, airline ticket purchases, car rentals, medical records, educational transcripts, driver's licenses, utility bills, tax returns, and any other available data. All of the above raises more questions than answers. Perhaps if the Facebook wishes to stay ethically sane, it should enact a policy. What happens in the Facebook stays in the Facebook.
And that's just what they tell you.
And that's just what they tell you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's just what
I mean,
exactly.
Like, if anything, like that clearly shows, a paper trail of these folks definitely being government type agencies. And unfortunately, when I see something like this, I know it's going to make Louise cringe, and I don't care, but it just makes me feel more and more each day how much Uncle Ted was right. It's just, he tried to warn everybody that technology was going to get insane, and this is one of those aspects where it's just like they are clear. The FBI found a way, the CIA, the three-letter agencies in general, found a way to get us to track ourselves and enjoy every minute of it. Like
Dr. Kaczynski did nothing wrong.
I mean, go ahead, Neptune. I know you had something to say.
It's a bit of a long one, so humor me. But I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on this, and it goes directly to something Chris mentioned earlier. And I think it goes beyond just collecting information, honestly, in my mind. And I think this has a lot to do with the larger implications of where we're going with AI. And this has actually got a lot to do with something we talked about in the chat the other day when I made the joke about the South winning the Civil War in an alternate timeline, and now they got a Skynet Terminator out there somewhere whistling fucking Dixie. All right. So, but humor me for a moment. Okay. My view on all of this, especially with regards to the way that information is being collected, not just by Facebook, but also by Twitter. Okay, let me go ahead and give an example right now. You guys are familiar with the sock puppets that constantly repeat the same fucking thing over again as part of cancel culture. They literally repeat the same phrase verbatim on multiple tweets independently.
Yes, this is what I was
You guys know what I'm talking
about,
right?
I do. This is what I was talking about, seeing it on like Facebook and stuff too.
Yeah, you will see that everywhere. And my real concern is that I think beyond just collecting this information and us being able to distinguish when we're talking to a real person today, right? My real concern is that I think this is trying to move us toward the line if we're talking to a real person or if we're talking to an AI. And the reason I say that is, okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll mention this example of, so Microsoft has an AI ethics office that was gutted about a week ago. I shared a bit about it on Facebook. Jimmy, I shared it with you. Basically, there's no reasonable oversight to the direction that AI is moving, be it in the private sector or in the public sector. Having said that, AI, for its part, okay, so I work in IT. Right now, I can log into the administration console for my company, and I can type in a front-end message for our phone line. In seconds, it will be able to transpose that as a workable message back to the public. So with that being said, what I really feel like this is heading is, no matter what we post through Facebook, through Twitter, through TikTok, on social media, that information is being gathered to help an AI better understand what it means to be human, what natural human language sounds like. The Turing test. Think back to Alan Turing during the Second World War and after the Second World War in the imitation game that he set up, is, can a human distinguish the difference between a machine and a human? The direction I'm going with this is, I feel we are heading in a direction where we can no longer meaningfully distinguish between human and machine learning. So sorry for the long rant, but I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on that, because I feel like it's harvesting data for that reason.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's multi-layered.
I don't think we're headed in that direction. I think we're there.
We might be. Yeah.
I mean, we're there and we're not. It's like, it's a mix of parts of it are, parts or in certain ways we are, in certain ways it's the 5% rule. You get to develop a project and you get to almost the finish, but that 5% becomes the hardest. And we are in many, for fusion, some people think we're at the 5%. So it just that 5% more, and we're going to have stable fusion that can run and produce basically infinite energy for the human race. We already have nuclear power through fission that is already extremely abundant. So it's like this weird situation of, we already have functioning nuclear power, but still it also applies to cars and automation and cars that drive by themselves. That we are close to that 5% already, because cars in many ways already drive better than humans, but also don't. So that's what I mean by the 5%. So in many technologies, we're there simultaneously.
Right.
So we're all moving forward on many levels to that point where we're going to get there. When it comes to robotics, the physical autonomous vehicle, like Elon's trying to push Optimus as an alternative human worker, but you can see it's still very primitive, and it's going to take years just to make the processing small enough to fit inside of the body. But they're making
I guess more specifically, what I feel like this is heading towards is further blurring the lines or bringing them close together. The matter of human reasoning with the logic-based intelligence of an AI, where they're indistinguishable. And
I think what they're gathering right now, I think what they're working on right now is everything that they need to function, to then implant it into a vessel that will pass off as what we would consider humanoid.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're working on right now. The whole
I think
reasoning,
I think
the ability to reason like a human and think like a human so that they can then transplant that into a vessel. I don't think they quite have what would pass off as a humanoid vessel right now. I don't. It's come pretty close because if you think about the biomasks that they have right now that people are wearing to pass off as certain politicians is pretty creepy.
Did you see the
that is
video
creepy.
that they're messing with this woman's face and they're showing how great it is?
But the internet is the perfect vehicle for this. The internet,
and that's what this exactly. We are creating their AI. We're creating their AI that they are going to take.
It depends on us
in their humanoid army.
Exactly.
That they're then going to turn on us. That we are doing the grunt work for them.
I think before
we are
happens,
unwittingly creating the fucking Terminator. But yeah, okay.
I think that's a possibility in the future. But I think before any of that, the more pertinent thing that I'm worried about is the targeting of free thinkers and people with alternative viewpoints, and they're using this AI and algorithm to target these people. And it's starting off with your big fish. It's targeting your big channels and your long time, what you would consider conspiracy theorists who have a large reach, like Alex Jones, David Icke, and then it's a trickle down effect. But what happens is you mentioned, those catchphrases that they throw out in there to the media, and then they Project Mockingbird it and keep parroting it, and then it becomes a hashtag. Well, now something domestic terrorism is a popular one, and that is targeting people who are going against the narrative, free thinkers, people who don't necessarily believe that the government has our best interest in mind. And if you're one of those people, you're a target now.
We delay that process for them. But free thinkers would obviously be the first target because we are the ones that stand in the way of them actually finishing what they intend to start.
I know recently, as of recently, they've had AI. They've had AI attacking like podcasts, for example. They've had AI going through and listening to podcasts and trying to find hot button conversations that they're looking for that are against the thing. And I know even yourself recently, YouTube finally said nope. We're done with you, buddy. And they popped you off. And then we've all had our separate issues with YouTube too. I occasionally try to throw something up there if I can, but like I even separately though from ourselves, like poor Luis got our buddy over there, Nate at Reality Czars popped on an episode, and then like I know I got Josh over there on the Red Pill Project popped on an episode. Shoot, I actually got him banned from Twitch on an episode that I did on our Makes You Think We Do on Saturday nights. I did. We were talking about Unit 731, and Twitch was like, nope, we can't talk about that, and they took his whole account down for that. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well, they're already starting to arrest journalists, like legit arrest your journalists who are showing up at like protests and certain events and questioning the narrative on certain things. They're actually bringing them to prison and charging them with domestic terrorism. How far is this going to go? How much is this going to trickle down? And how far are we going to let them be able to implement this new domestic terrorism agenda that they're rolling out right now?
Oh, I mean, and it's not new. It's just super extended in the Patriot Act that Trump decided to extend for another amount of time. Like that. There's so much stuff down in there. Like we've been being labeled as domestic terrorists since 2001, and now they're just ramping it up even more. Like it seems that every aspect. Like I was reading a thing the other day just about a guy wanted, kind of locally for something, and on top of all the charges, they added into domestic terrorism too. And I'm just like this guy. I know this dude did something wrong, and he's already going probably up the river for a long time. But why do we have to keep adding domestic terrorism to the top of all of this stuff? Like it's getting ridiculous to these points.
It's a broad term that it's a blanket term that they can cover anything with.
They this is the problem. They declare certain groups that are not really terrorists as terrorists, and they don't declare groups that are truly terrorist. So it's all because of agendas. Like if you
I just
look
want my
at-
CIA loot drop, man. That's
Just-
all
I just want my Hilux and my
I want-
KPP. What's so wrong with that? That's
I
all
mean,
I'm asking.
I want my Toyota Hilux Technical, man.
See, you guys are all wanting that, and I'm always waiting for this.
You definitely don't want that ever. Even
Nah,
in-
they ain't gonna beat on your door like
just-
that, man.
No, they
Trust me.
just blow it up. They
Yeah,
don't knock. They don't knock.
exactly.
Yeah,
They're gonna breach. They're gonna breach your door at 3 a.m.
They burn your house down with 83 children inside and call it a day.
They're gonna breach your door at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they might whisper, "Please open up," before they blow your door open.
Like but it's ridiculous
All right.
nowadays.
Yeah.
You have to be-
I know. I created a. Yeah, I'm
Right.
sorry I created a tangent here, but this is. I feel like that was. Like this is serious business though. Like
it is.
for real. Like there ain't no walking around it. Everything we have done in the history of the United States in terms of technology in the 20th century has all been an advent of military technology being funneled down to the public for the sake of control.
You know, it's kind of
Mhm.
creepy, guys. I've interviewed a couple of researchers that are looking. One of them's looking into the possibility of occult ritualistic aspects being implemented in Silicon Valley to have different outcomes on AI and things like that. Another one is just an ancient historian, and they both brought up the question. And they've been interacting with GPT and asking it different questions, theological questions, things like that. And something very similar happened in both the conversations between both these researchers is the word fallen angel came out of the chat GPT, something about Nephilim, and that
You just said a magic
they eventually
keyword
wanted
for
to
Jimmy.
be inhabited or something like that. And it was very fascinating. I know that it's probably easy for someone to lead a chat GPT in a certain
is.
direction with these questions, but just going back to the occult aspects of what is behind the ultimate agendas of transhumanism, the transformation of the alchemical transformation of what we currently are as human to something else, to a genderless, perfect type of human. That is one of the underlying deep occult aspects to the high level secret societies and the direction that they're trying to push everybody. I mean, it's obvious when you step back and look at everything. So I believe there are dark, nefarious occult aspects that are intertwined with some levels of technology, but how far it can go, if they can inhabit a Nephilim or a evil spirit into an AI, I don't know, but I think it's pretty interesting to
They were
discuss.
caught doing a human sacrifice ritual at CERN.
Right.
They want-
yeah, that is.
Come
They want-
on.
They want to. All right. So with this aspect of things, this always gets me going on I do see it. The prison. Okay. So
I just want to share.
I do discuss sometimes about prison planet theory, and like, okay, I believe they use the old world teachings of what you would call a cult, because a lot of people take a cult as being bad, but I just know it being secret. And these are like the same things that even like people like Jesus or Buddha and stuff would have been practicing and stuff, but they use it for personal gain, and they have used it for personal gain for so long that they figured out ways to even put it in our everyday lives, down to the black mirrors in our pocket. And their further goal, I think, is to even further trap the light that's inside of our mech suit into a prison within the prison. And the prison that they're trying to trap us within the prison is a technological prison, because if they can figure out how to trap souls inside of their technology, then they can continue to control the souls that they want to control across the board, like as long as they want, like, and live their life of up on the high and rich, and we're in power. and live themselves on forever because they can transfer their souls into this technology and stuff too. But like one further step into trapping us from actually like going into another dimensional realm, or the whole planet going into like another dimensional realm. But I think that there are just as many, like just because I've met a bunch of them, people in the world of the occult that are practicing it in a positive manner. And like this has a big ripple effect as well, and is also something why they're going after things like this. You know, they're using the technology to go and try to weed us all out, on top of turning herbs into substances and stuff like that, you know. And like it's all a giant web, like, for no doubt in my mind at all. And all of it resorts back to the people and or the person in control, because as Bandit has made mention of a million times on here, like eventually there has to be like the CEO, like, you know what I mean? Like even in companies and even in like, you know, the puppet politics and stuff, like there's somebody that all these crazy people still answer to, I guess, in a sense, like that's calling these shots. And I have weird off-gandered theories about this, because like and people think I'm nuts, but I think Jim Carrey rules the world. And I know it's off kilter, but I think that the person that would rule the world wouldn't want them to know who they really are, but they would still like some kind of attention, and they would know things and drop weird red pills in places like he has done, but he's still totally like somebody, or has some kind of connection higher than a lot of people think he does. Like that, I don't know. There's something weird about that fellow, always has been. But like, I don't know. I think they want to double trap us, like prison planet within the prison planet within a prison planet is kind of their ultimate goal.
You know, it's weird along those lines. I was speaking with, what is her name? Gosh, I'm gonna think of it in a second. She is a sleep paralysis researcher, and she was on in the sleep paralysis does not really have anything to do with this, but something interesting she's noticed in her research, she speaks with many people who have sleep paralysis, and she's done this for a long time, and she's noticed a sort of evolution over the years in this phenomena, that it used to be like shadow people and succubi and incubi and little demonic things that would kind of be affecting you while you were going through the sleep paralysis process. Well, now she said a lot of people are starting to have like technological little cyborgs, and more like a matrix type of overlay, and more technological experiences with cyborg beings. And that's very interesting to think that the sleep paralysis is becoming more technological as we advance into a more technological age. And the same thing has happened with like a lot of UFO sightings. You know, it's gone from airships to saucers to plasma to Tic Tacs, and it's kind of evolving with our consciousness, our groupthink. And so is sleep paralysis, and so is a lot of other strange paranormal activity. So that makes me wonder if this is either all a part of our evolution, or if there are other nefarious, maybe three-letter agencies that are effing with us in some way. I don't know.
AI took over once before. The sun shot off a flare and destroyed it. Everybody started worshiping the sun and worked their way back to AI again, and it's just some kind of weird cycle. Like part of me wants to believe that a lot of this stuff is like ancient AI tech. Like, you know, they've always been like, oh, they're hiding this and stuff underneath ground, and they're hiding history. And I really think that they are, and that there is like, humans were far more advanced than the piles of mush that many of us have become today. You know, I mean, and just in general, we talk about it a lot, kind of, you know, like this day and age, humans have the highest level of obesity and they have the access to the most knowledge, but damn, there are a lot of times that people are just plain stupid. And it's amazing to see. And I really do think that we found a lot of what exists today, you know, like they're they weren't building some of these magnificent, ridiculous structures out of horse and buggy and just 1,000 slaves to move it and stuff like that. And I think that there was some form of advanced technology, you know, eons ago. I know some of these ancient historians think that there's time that, what is it, the Sphinx came 5,000 years before ancient Egypt even came and stuff like that. Like there's plausibilities to this and stuff. Like and I really think that there's some truth to all this, and this is why it begs to differ to look into this further instead of just trying to be like, oh no, human history didn't start until English started writing it down. Like it's silly, I think.
Yeah.
Tristan, you were bringing something up there about the tech there. I think you're muted.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the article I was referring to when I was talking about this earlier. This is really important, and it's worth pointing out, ChatGPT, that is a direct product of Microsoft services. Everything Microsoft has done has led toward ChatGPT. Okay, so I really want this just plugged in your links as always, Jimmy, that they completely gutted that office of AI ethical responsibility, and that speaks volumes to if whether or not it's government, whether or not it's the private sector that's leading the charge on pushing us in this direction.
An ancient AI is controlling all of it, bro. Like that's totally my theory. Like underneath ground, they found this ancient AI, and that's what they've been doing for years is like playing with the technology from it and re-releasing it and stuff like that.
I'll just go full Seth Green for a moment from Mass Effect and say, oh, this is Joker's fault. What a tool he was. I had to spend all day computing pi because he plugged in the Overlord.
I mean, just completely like it. Humans were meant for more. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the ability to talk to all the amazing people that I know here in this group and all these guests, like Chris here and stuff. But like, at the same time, like, we are so detached from Earth. We are more detached than any other being, on this planet from the planet. In general,
don't make me say the line. Don't make me say the line. The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
Well, me and Bandit talk about it a lot, just in general on conversations. Like there was, I don't know, some technologies, like classic technologies, especially classic kitchen technologies, for example.
Technology has done a world of good.
They're getting too much now. Like there's certain things that they should have stopped at. Like they made something really good and should have stopped. Like I'm a big fan of a classic hand crank for casing my sausage, or the piano wire on
obsolescence, man. That's what it boils down to. Planned obsolescence.
It is. I mean, it is. I see it in the appliance.
That goes for human. That goes for humans too.
Well, that's what Brave New World kind of speaks on. That portion of the human race is replaced, and the rich ones are the ones that are the clones, and then there's the savages, we're just the regular humans. And also the global population in Brave New World is 2 billion. So that's an interesting population number too.
I'll be a savage any day. I'll be a savage any day.
I've worked in the field of information technology for almost 20 years. It's my entire adult life, and I'm married to it. That I cannot deny. But for all the good technology has the possibility of bringing to the betterment of society, it has the ability to undo everything that is meaningful at an individual level and at a community level. It's the quote from Feynman: the key that opens the gates of heaven will open the gates of hell.
Absolutely. So Chris, I will bounce off subject a little bit, man.
That's all.
Catch up with you some. I've seen recently that you guys are working on. You're about to get to work on a documentary and stuff. I'd like to hear a little bit if you don't want to share, man.
Of course. When is this episode going to go out?
I'm usually a couple days afterwards. It'll be during the week next week. So
sweet. Yeah. Well, perfect. This coming week. So it'll be around the 28th through April 1st or 2nd, maybe 3rd. We're going to be traveling. We're going to be starting to film our docuseries, The Forbidden Documentary. We're going to be covering everything from paranormal, historical, conspiratorial hotspots, cryptids, ghosts, all kinds of just haunted history, anything that you can think of that I've covered on my show before, spirituality, cult history, all kinds of cool stuff. We're going to be traveling across the United States. We're going to break it up into sections. First section is going to be a kind of origin story for myself, along with some Louisiana haunted hotspots, plantations, voodoo, cryptids,
Nice.
a couple
That's
of
what
other
I'm talking about.
Yeah, a couple of other haunted places we're going to be stopping at. We're going to be getting interviews from my witnesses along the way, talking with experts. I'll be integrating some of my previous interviews into there. And it's going to be an ongoing thing. And we start travel. We're going to leave from northern Colorado, head to South Louisiana in a couple of days. And if anybody would like to help out, if anybody is in that area and would like to help out with information or have some suggestions for locations, or if you'd like to help with a donation, you can email me forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com, and we have a website you can donate at supportfkn.com. So anything is greatly appreciated there. We're completely self-funded, and we're going to be in a gas guzzler traveling, so it's going to get expensive, but we really appreciate all the support so far. And hopefully by, I want to say May, we will have the first episode out, maybe a little bit after May, June. We will be able to put out our first episode. We're still not sure how we're going to do distribution. I know we'll put out the first one for free and then see if maybe we could get on Amazon or something like that for the rest of the docuseries. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And the next, after this, we're going to do the South first, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and then after we get back and take a break and produce that, we'll hit the West. We'll do California, Nevada.
You gotta if you find yourself down here in the Southeast, me and Neptune down there, we're over
we
here
will. That's going to be our third trip. We're going to hit the Southeast, some of the East Coast. So we're just going to break it up into a bunch of different episodes, and it'll be like an ongoing thing. Whenever I get a couple of weeks free, I'll go out and shoot some footage, and it'll be part of the Forbidden Documentary. So it's going to be a good time.
Especially in the haunted aspect. I know Neptune's down there near Savannah, and I'm up here. I'm not far from him, but I know up closer to me is Lake Lanier, which those are two of the most haunted places like that people come across, I think, on a regular aspect, on top of things in between.
And for my part, I'm in the most haunted city in the United States. So there it is.
Right on. Yeah, man. We're hoping to get to as many places as possible, but it's gonna be like a huge undertaking, and it's gonna be just me and my girlfriend going out there getting the bulk of the footage. I have a couple of other people that'll be helping get drone footage and stuff while I'm down there, and then I got a producer that's going to help me edit, but we're pretty much self-funded, so anything that you guys could help us out with would be greatly appreciated. So thanks for letting me plug that. Appreciate it.
It sounds massive in scope. So tell me something. Are you planning to talk about the history of particular locations, or how do you?
We're going to get into a little bit. Yeah, we have a couple of plantations we're going to look at.
Nice.
We have the Marie Laveau's grave site, a couple of other historical voodoo places in New Orleans, a couple of haunted hotspots. We're going on a Bigfoot expedition in northern Louisiana. That's going to be fun. We know a guy who psychically communicates with Bigfoot, so you never know. Maybe we might be able to get something. Although Bigfoot's never been caught on footage before, I'll be the damn first one to get his ass.
Hey,
I'll entice him with a BJ or something. You know, he may be into that thing.
You never know. That could be the reason that it's never worked. Is nobody's ever
nobody offered Bigfoot a BJ before, so he doesn't come around.
I mean, that's I think it's one of the more logical explanations I've heard out there. Like that.
Yes, definitely.
But no, I mean, that's fantastic stuff, man. I've always been a follower of yours. Like I was excited the last time you come on, and I was excited that you were, gracious enough to come back and join us again, especially with all that going on and stuff. You guys are always out there pushing the good word and stuff like that, and trying to show
Thank
folks
you so much, man. Yeah.
alternate worlds, man. And that's, you were you were definitely something I watched prior to getting into doing this myself as well, and here we are a year later going strong, and still still doing things too, man. We're in the self-funded world as well, so I totally understand the back of that. And but we try to keep out there and keep it going as much as we can. I think this stuff's important, and if anything, we'll have it on some saved internet somewhere one day, and people will find it and be like, what are all these folks on here talking about?
I totally plan when everything collapses that I'm going to have a tank with some spikes on it, and I'm gonna have a megaphone at the top of it, and I'll be broadcasting forbidden knowledge news from a megaphone on the top of a tank in the apocalypse.
Man, I'm down. We're always joking about tanks and stuff around here. I told the guys the other week that there's a tank with a for sale sign up on it up the road from me here, and ironically enough, I happened across another one 2 days ago, and this one's smaller, Bandit. You might be able to know what it is. It has tires, not tracks, but it's a teeny tiny little tank, and it's sitting out there as well with a for sale sign on it. So apparently,
it's got to be a Fox.
There's market for tanks down here in the Southeast. So if you're looking for one, I totally
talking about. There's a market for tanks everywhere.
You can technically own up to what's
$75,000. You can buy a tank to your house. Like
no, I mean in terms of actual artillery. Bandit, maybe like what's the scope of the size, up to what size in relation to artillery? Because I've seen people can own a cannon.
if you're willing to pay.
If you're willing to pay,
I'll own whatever cannon
I feel
own.
Hang on, anything. Well, fuck it. I mean, you can own anything you want.
A nuclear.
You really can.
if you're willing to pay the ATF for destructive devices,
fuck that, man.
It's basically unlimited.
Fuck that. You can own anything you want.
Yeah.
You can own anything you want.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Fuck that legality of things, man. You can own anything you want. But the problem is, you're going to pay, like, really, you're going to pay out the ass for 155 millimeter ammunition. 155 rounds are not what you would think of. You can't go to Cabela's and buy 155 rounds. But I will let you know, medieval artillery
is not regulated,
not covered, is not required to be registered by the ATF. I can theoretically, in my front or backyard, wherever I want, build a medieval trebuchet that can launch a car, and I do not have to register that.
Hang on. I want to
see a trebuchet that can launch a car.
Do with that what you will.
We can build one that'll launch refrigerators. I got refrigerators lined up for days.
That's actually more tactical.
Don't end this until I can go back and find the meme I made. Hold on, Jimmy.
You can own medieval artillery, and it's not classified even as an other whatever device. You don't have to register.
Cannons and black powder firearms too. And you got, unfortunately, I found that pirate website, and I'm still really tempted to buy the flintlock pistol because
tally ho with a 10-pounder.
I mean,
if you get the land, if your
screenability is on, buddy.
Jimmy, check your texts, download and share that meme.
All right.
Just because you have to, because we're on that topic.
Yep.
It is the best meme I've ever made.
No, seriously though, if I have to say, within the legal bounds of the ATF, you can own artillery pieces, you can own tanks, but they will make them non-firing. They will remove the entire breech and barrel of the gun, and they will remove, if you happen to buy something newer, they will remove all types of classified thermal imaging sites, electronics, communication equipment, armor, and stuff like that. And you'll just basically have a $1 million vehicle to just drive around in, and with nothing functioning. In the same way with aircraft. There are guys that own F-16s and F-18 Hornets, but they will have all types of guidance systems, external mounting brackets, and the gun and everything like that removed. You'll just have an expensive taxi.
But with the amount,
you're doubling up.
Well, I'm saying though, think about the amount of things.
No, your audio.
Double audio.
My bad.
Double audio.
My bad. Okay. When you're my bad on that. When you crap, it broke my train of thought. The advancements that even like our friends are over there with the Black Lotus Coalition printing their way to freedom, they are currently not only have they printed rocket launchers, but they are currently printing casings, successfully printing casings left and right.
They have successfully printed 40 millimeter rounds.
Yes.
For grenade launchers for 203s. They have actually, no joke here. It may only be 22 rimfire, but they have successfully printed and manufactured 100% a firearm that will fire 22 rimfire ammunition with all printable parts.
Yep. That was their first one that they come up with, and they've done it a different way than the modern crowd is, and they've done a very good job at it. We've had them on here a couple times. They're great guys.
The ability to metal fabrication and printable weapons has taken the whole we're going to take all the guns off the streets. No, we're just going to make them now. I mean,
we are going to see a return to the 19th century's idea of paper patching that would give the FBI a fucking stroke. And I'm fucking here for it.
Have you ever seen what a 65 caliber musket round does to a human body?
Motherfucker? Yeah. Holy fuck ass.
But it's the whole mentality now, I mean, with the ability to 3D print and metal fabrication in your garage, the whole, we're going to take all the weapons. No. I mean, there are rebel factions in Myanmar. And
they're using J-Stark's design.
The FC9s. There are entire companies, guerrilla forces, armed with the J-Stark's FC9s. I think it's the FC9. Taking out entire companies of police officers there. You can't stop it anymore. It's a lost battle. It's like the war on drugs. The drugs won the war on drugs. The guns are going to win the war on guns.
So wait. So we need a war on homesteading and stuff next, so that that we can.
Well, they're already trying that. They're already trying that. Did you see the ridiculousness that they were going to start making people register their gardens and the amount of pushback they got for that?
Good luck.
Ridiculous, man.
I don't think we should be registering our cars either while we're on the subject. I mean, I'm not a person that likes registering anything, so
yeah. Fuck your goddamn taxes.
But see, the thing is, the pushback is what's important, and that's what you are seeing, though. I mean, it goes in waves, but the waves continually are getting bigger. We'll have a huge wave of pushback for something, and then it'll go back down. But the next wave is even bigger. We'll eventually come to a crescendo where those waves will come crashing in.
And Mr. Chippy gets to come and visit everyone?
I got better ideas than Chippy.
I'll be blasting fucking Hallelujah on a fucking jukebox.
I mean, have you seen the pictures of France right now?
Videos. I mean,
it's a dystopian hellhole right now.
If the general strike,
someone called for Macron's decapitation, and I was like, "Wow,
100%." There were eco-terrorists that were setting fire to cop cars, beating cops in the streets. I don't like eco-terrorists.
18 days, the trash companies have not.
Yeah, and just they decided on top of the general strikes. The eco-terrorists decided to come out and on top of the just general protests, and it got exponentially worse. And I just can't This might be it for France. This could very well be like a tipping point for France.
Well, they need to. I mean,
I thought France officially ended in 1939 with the Saar offensive. Okay, I'm done.
This could very well be it, but it needs to be because Macron is
Macaroon
is a terrorist. Did you see the video he did where he was wearing like a $90,000 luxury watch? And when he was wearing that watch, he was calling for more sacrifices to be made by the people while he was wearing that watch. And mid-conversation, he figured out, oh shit, I'm wearing $100,000 Rolex. And he puts his hands under the table and takes the watch off. And the watch is off when he brings his hands up next.
Same.
He should have just left the watch.
He's at least
he should have just he should have just left the watch on, because now he's looked at as like
even worse.
That's pretty fucking hypocritical, man. That's worse.
Same energy as a bunch of fucking hypocritical asshats flying on an Airbus A380 private airliner talking about how we need to do better as a society for climate change. Get the fuck out of my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest polluter, the biggest billionaire polluter known is Bill Gates.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt. I am not surprised.
And didn't you see, like, Cabbage in Chief was just in Canada talking about global climate change, and he had an 80-car convoy. 80 vehicles. People stopped counting at 80. You could see the people on the street videoing the whole convoy, and they're like, I stopped counting at 80 vehicles. And he was there talking to Fidel Castro Jr. about climate change.
That Top Kit Cadillac Limo 1 that he drives, that thing could take up fucking fuel economy for 80 cars by itself.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean what is it called?
Beast.
The Beast.
The Beast,
which is essentially a mobile tank.
Mm-hmm.
It is a mobile tank,
and it costs like $2 million.
That's the price tag for modification.
About that, yeah. $2
to $4 million.
Who really knows, though?
Exactly. That's why they said 2 to 4. Mm-hmm. I think it's because all the tech that's inside. It has a self-sustaining system.
It is a tank on wheels. You are correct.
It is,
and only 2 people. Have you seen the picture inside? Only 2 people can fit per side, so 4 people fit inside the car.
Yes,
outside of the driver and the passenger.
Sweet. I thought for sure they'd get way further with the climate change agenda before they rolled out the fake UFO invasion, but they're like head to head right now, man.
They realized that the climate change hoax was failing.
Yeah, unless they completely roll out their weather war weapons, which I know they control aspects.
You are bringing up a very good point. We are bringing up a very good point here. Let's make an example. Let me use an example. Has anybody? We all have experience dealing with extreme narcissists, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Stay with me now. Have you ever noticed what happens when a narcissist starts to lose control of somebody? Have you ever noticed what happens? They start immediately just throwing out everything they can to try and keep control of that person.
Yep. They will move the goalposts.
Right? They will move the goalposts. They will start throwing out everything they can to try and keep control of that person. We are witnessing that in real time with our government. Our government is the biggest narcissist of all times. Yes, they will do everything they can. They will throw everything at the population they can to try and maintain control. We are witnessing that right now. COVID, aliens, war with Russia, inflation, climate change, everything they can. They're going to throw everything they can. And the people are pushing back against that in droves, That's what gives me hope. I don't just troll social media just for the fun of it. I like seeing people push back, people wake up to this garbage that, the government is spewing. It really is. It gives me hope.
Yeah, and I have hope too. I see a lot of people pushing back and waking up, but for every couple of hundred people I see do that, I'll see maybe 1,000 people just become more retarded and just sink deeper into their mindset of fear and being stuck under just following blindly every agenda that's going on. But you're right. I do see more and more people popping in there and questioning narratives and becoming more aware of things. And I think that's what we need. We need this to just steadily keep increasing.
So there's always going to be NPCs, always going to be NPCs, always going to be people that are asleep. The people that are asleep right now don't want to be awake. They are comfortably asleep and ignorant to what's going on.
There are always people, and even like I've said from day one since I started doing this, is that there's somebody out there, even if it's just one person that is listening to this episode right now, and it was the episode. There was something that we said in here that was the catalyst or the kicker. That was like, holy shit, they've been lying to me this entire time. And that's what I look for, because you're right. There are still a mass full of people. The mass holes out there are the ones that think that they rule everything, but that's totally fine. They can keep walking towards the edge of the cliff. I'll gather the ones of you that don't want to go off the edge of the cliff, and we're going to go out in the woods and figure out a way to do this on our own without all this shit. Like we can let the world burn around us while we're enjoying our time hanging out with goats in the forest or something. Like there's positives to all this. I do think that in our future, and even in our livable, seeable future, we're going to see a lot of balkanization going on, because you do have what was the number, 24 states that are actually being serious about articles of secession, on top of 16 states attempting to create their own currency. And
26 states, I believe, now have constitutional carries.
Oh yeah.
No, it's 28 working on 29 right now. We're at 28.
And these are all
it's about to be the 29th.
Well, listen, all states are constitutional carry if you're not a pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a different subject. But I mean, like these, all these, I do see a lot of like positive things. I keep running into more and more homesteaders doing this too. And I see more people preparing themselves for the inevitable collapse, because there are people that understand that, the money is worthless and your digital dollars aren't going to be accepted by people that are not going to take digital dollars for their beans and bullets. Like I'm one of those guys.
Jimmy just said, like, it's not going to be a collapse like everybody thinks it's going to be a collapse. Okay, I just want to get that out of the way.
I mean, we're experiencing it right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like you have such a large structure.
Oh yeah,
large structure. It takes or like you can also call it like a ship. For a ship this big to sink, it's going to take eons.
A long time.
Well, look at 2008. 2008 actually took a year and a half. We're at double the speed of that, though.
The best thing we've got going for us is all the agendas, everything they're trying to push towards us, everything that is going on in the background is all illusionary. Like if the second one person sees through it and brings it to someone else's attention, it's a snowball effect, and then it all becomes debunked and nobody's paying attention anymore, and they can't play that card anymore. And this is happening more and more. It's all based on an illusion, and their illusion is starting to crumble right under their feet.
Like that whole Agenda 2030 shit is out the fucking window, man. That shit is known coast to coast, and people are like, I ain't gonna fuck that, man.
You're not gonna eat the bugs.
Follow through that. Yeah, I ain't gonna eat the bugs and live in the pod. I ain't gonna do that. So that already makes it out, man. That's gone.
So many. I mean, and I really believe that. There's so many of us that are moving forward in a positive way, that like the people we find on here that are building, alternative ideas and alternative solutions to the status quo stuff. Like it's better for them to continue to prepare that, so that when an aspect of what currently exists does actually completely fail, there is, other answers out there. And I see a lot of people working on this. So, I do want to change speed just a little bit though, just because this has been great. And Chris, there's this new section we've been doing on the show that I've been having a whole lot of fun with here recently, man. Where I feed the AI that we all that ask questions. I found me an AI generator that gives me random questions, like just ridiculously off kilter random questions, and I like to ask it to the group and see what they would say. And today's weird question that it gave to me. And I would like you to be the first answer, of course, and the rest of the crew can chime in as well, too. But if animals could talk, which one do you think would be the rudest?
Oh, rudest.
100% have this question answered already.
I know the answer to this one.
I think it would have to be, for me, just because I've encountered these things and they're pieces of shit, is Nutri-Rats.
All right.
Like a capybara.
Kinda. They're in the swamps of South Louisiana, and they will attack you.
Okay.
And they're very loud, and they're pieces.
God, went way out left field. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the one for me.
All right, Bandit, what you got?
100% the badger.
You think he'd be the rudest?
The absolute rudest. Badgers are douchebags.
You get along
They're
with
badasses.
the rats for sure.
Yeah.
Neptune? Uh-oh. Did Neptune freeze on us? Well, I'm going to skip over to Luis because I think Neptune's in a frozen state. Luis, do you think there'd be what would be your rudest animal?
I just thought he was thinking.
Well, the rudest a noise. It fell out. The rudest. Well, they've said that essentially the dolphin can do anything.
Sorry.
They have no morals. They just have fun.
You're right. They commit war crimes.
They try and rape people. Like when I was in the Bahamas, they're like, do not put your hand near the dolphin's private parts. They will try and rape you. So, that's a thing.
Don't they pass around a pufferfish to get high?
Yes.
Oh,
They're like humans.
Hey, on that same note, I've seen monkeys like masturbating with dead frogs, like taking a dead frog, banging it, and like just putting it over their shoulder, and then bringing it out later and banging it again. They carry around the dead frog.
Share it. They'll pass it around.
So they're sharing. They're sharing their frog fleshlight.
Yes. You went from 0 to 60 pretty quick, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, and it seems Neptune's having a little bit of internet issues, and that's there he is.
Internet sucks at this hotel.
What's your animal there?
The rudest animal?
Yes,
is a goose. The internet, the internet has forever proven my point. Goose,
the Canadian goose, or just the goose in general?
The cobra chicken,
just the goose in general. Angry water chickens, fuck them things.
Yeah,
fair.
I had one try to attack my dog.
I think Tristan might have gotten this one right.
Yeah, goose. Fuck geese in general.
Geese are
angry water. Facts. Yeah, no. Well, several years ago, I had a little dog. I had a Pekingese. She was the greatest thing on the planet. I miss that dog every day. But when that goose tried to attack my dog, I was ready to field goal that thing, clear her back into the pond where we lived. Like, nah, fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck I hate geese.
I would water. I was gonna in my realm. I was gonna go waterfowl in general. Like ducks, man. Ducks are also assholes too. So like,
can confirm
they can be, but ducks just want to be left alone. Ducks just want to be left alone, though.
True, but a goose will attack you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really the thing, right? You could make an argument that the honey badger is rude. The honey badger is a dick, but all it wants to be is left alone. Just leave it the fuck alone.
I want to throw out an honorable mention. My cat's a dick. My cat's
Cats was my other one. I was gonna say that, but cats are great and cats are awful at the same time.
So Chris, of course, once again, I'd like for you to plug everything you got going on, man. We're always love to have everybody be able to come back and find you and everything that they can find that you're dealing with.
Right on, man. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. I appreciate it. We should do it again soon. And we have you guys on Forbidden Knowledge and News soon. So let's get something scheduled for you guys as well. Website is forbiddenknowledge.news. That's where we have the Forbidden Knowledge Network. We feature a bunch of other podcasts from our community there as well. We're available on all podcast platforms. Our premium content is on Rockfin, rockfin.com/FKN Plus. And like you see here on the screen, we have a link tree. All our stuff is right there. We're also on video on Rumble and Odyssey. So that's where you find it.
Fantastic, you guys. And you know, anything we've discussed tonight that we've had pulled up and stuff, you guys know that I'll have links to get back to and stuff for all this good stuff, as well as all the links to get back to him. And I'm going to make sure that everybody gets a copy of The Brave New World on this episode. I found me a good PDF to share with you guys out there because I really recommend a lot of folks reading that one if you haven't. I hope you have because it's definitely worth reading and even rereading. I like to go around the table and make sure there's any last minute things you got to throw out there. So, Neptune, you got any last thoughts for tonight?
Nah, I'm good, man. Appreciate it. Sorry,
Bandit, you got any?
Sorry, I ain't been on.
No.
Just been busy.
I'm good.
Good. Luis, you got any final thoughts?
You know this is real because computers would not be this insane.
All right.
If AI could replicate
This
human behavior of incoherent nonsense, we're really in trouble. We're
screwed.
Once
Once we can train a system into this podcast and then ask it, hey, generate a whole new 2 hours and see and it actually is coherent, we're all fucked.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
You don't think I'm gonna try that one day? I'm just gonna take like a bunch of them, put them into the system, and train
see what happens. Yeah, I could see you doing that.
It'll take a while, but that'll be interesting.
Of course, you guys know you can find everything over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com. You'll be able to find all the links to this episode, all the links to get back to Chris. Hey, there's even an episode on there where you can go back and check us out on an episode with Chris and Chris in the past before, man. We've had him on before. It's always a great time to have, and we do appreciate all the hard work he's out there doing and stuff like that. We appreciate each and every one of you out there watching and listening worldwide and stuff, man. You guys make sure you check up over there on social media and stuff like that. Don't forget on Facebook, it's Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates, and there's a whole thing behind that. Most of you guys know about that, but when you're over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com, don't forget to answer tonight's pirate question to get yourself some sweet Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast stickers, man, because you guys know I love giving stuff away. So tonight's multiple choice question for everybody out there listening is, which Buccaneer led the expedition across the Pacific coast recorded by Basil Ringrose? Was it Jacob Colahart, Mary Read, Bartholomew Sharp, or Sir Henry Morgan? You guys can answer that over there on the website and get yourself some free stickers. Aside from that, we're going to weigh anchor and get on out of here. So good night, everyone.